You were referring to the Kenyan shilling, what was it doing? Actually, if you look at it carefully, in the last quarter of 2010, it went the other way around. It strengthened. And we took positions in the third quarter of 2010 at that given time with the exchange rate at that given time plus interest cost, which is there, as you know, on the hedging contract. And in the fourth quarter, the shilling strengthened, so you had to record it as a loss. What is interesting about it is that most of it has been gained in the first quarter of 2011. Okay, so just to tell you. Now, I want you to know and rest assured that you have probably one of the best boards in this business, and the board has set a hedging position or a policy on Forex and, by the way, on oil prices as well, okay? So maybe I tell you what is the hedging policy on the exchange aspect. We are instructed by the board to take at least, am I saying at least or 50? At least 50% of our Forex exposure on a monthly basis. You get me? So what we, Mr. Ndugu, listen to, when you have this kind of policy and you take much ahead, you don't take for the following month only, okay? You take 6 months ahead, 4 months ahead. We try even to take 9, 10 months, even up to the end of the year, in the beginning of the year. You have to project what is your expected Forex exposure for that given month, and you go and hedge at least 50% of it. You get me? Now, what the flat price going to be, like we are in oil business, say, nobody knows, because it is it is just, you know, developing with time, and then, of course, over time, you are supposed to average out, and in a way, it is to manage your risk in this area. You don't want to be fully exposed, yes, and you don't want to be fully, you know, hedged completely, okay? So this is our policy on the Forex issue. Yes, then there was another question on page 50, the borrowing, please.
On the borrowings, if you, it was referred to on page 50, I also remind you that, you know, the balance sheet is always at a point in time. So at that point in time, yes, it is true that our US dollar borrowings at the end of 2010 was double the one in 2009. That was also a deliberate policy or strategy of ours to follow that, because as you know, the Kenya shilling interest rate remained high during the last half of last year and was increasing actually, and the US dollar interest rate was actually remaining quite flat. So we had also increased our dollar borrowings to cushion us against the higher interest rates. We've actually got good flexibility to be able to swap between the two currencies to actually maximize our positions with the borrowings.
One more thing, you always have to look on the other side. If you have such a high borrowing, and remember this all borrowing is working capital, look at the other side on the assets in your stocks. It was not only because of the view we took on the interest rate and the, you know, between the dollar and the shilling. It was because we took a view on the oil prices, and at that time we actually in the last quarter of 2010, we made a clear opinion that oil prices will continue going up, and which, by the way, happened, and you know very well. We are actually now enjoying the benefit of being with high inventories at the end of the 2011, okay? Sorry, 2010, Okay, and that's one of the reasons that, and I did indicate that we are projecting strong first half of 2011, because we know very well that we build up inventories at a relatively lower cost of oil, and we are now in the market selling this product. So always remember, when you see working capital, working capital on the borrowing side, look at where is it, and you'll find it always in stock, in inventories.
The disputes we have had with the pipeline. There was also in the news this dispute you had with the refineries, which you also referred to shortly. I would like to know the effects of that dispute. I know it was mutually settled, but what was the financial implications of the settlement?
Yes, you're right, and I did mention we had a dispute with KPRL. Needless to say, and you know very well this management that will protect its rights, whether it is with a private company or parastatal government-related companies. So this has been our philosophy, and needless to say much about the refinery. You know very well what's going on with this refinery. Its performance is below par, below expectations, and so on, and we were arguing on certain issues that now all other marketers are actually arguing. It was a long battle. Mr. Oyatsi as well was involved with a member of the board and our lawyer on certain issues, and this was one of the issues he was dealing with. It was a long battle between us and the refinery. Finally, it was settled. I would say it was settled with a great benefit to your company, okay? I wouldn't like to elaborate much, because we have an agreement not to, because remind you, there are many other oil companies that are actually been, since we've settled it, been trying to get the final agreement, because they wanted to, benchmark with it, because they are now actually arguing with the refinery on the very same issues. They are all to do with the yield shifts, and I'm sure you are familiar, you know about it, which are basically a cost item, which should not be our cost item, should be their cost item. So we did sign an agreement with a great benefit to us. We cleaned all the backlog up to September 2010, yes? And we have no more issues with the refinery. But rest assured, as a shareholder, your management reached a great deal with the refinery and finalized it to the benefit of both parties at the end of the day, but much more for us when you compare it to the other oil companies who are now struggling on the very same issues. I'm sure you heard about this $100 million yield shift, which the industry is arguing with the refinery. We are out of it. We are not party to it, because our issue's been settled. Thank you. Up to September 2010. Yes. Since then, by the way, I don't think there are new issues. Maybe, Steve, you can help me? There are new issues on yield shifts and so on?
There are no new other issues which have been raised by the refinery, and some of these have been sort of put on hold again, because ever since the price formula came or was put in place, it has not taken into consideration some of these aspects, and hence all those aspects have been put on hold.
May I now request that someone kindly propose that the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2010, together with the report of the chairman and the group managing director and the reports of the directors and auditors thereon, as submitted to this meeting, be and are hereby adopted. Please, I need a proposer, Mr. Olay. Okay. May I have a seconder, please? Mr. Baruku. Sorry, Mr. Baruku. Thank you. Item 4 on the agenda is to declare a first and final dividend of Kenya shilling 0.52, i.e. 52 cents per share for the year ended December 31st, 2010. The register will be closed from the close of business on Friday, 29th April 2011 to Monday, 2nd May 2011 for the purpose of processing the dividend.
My name is Ivan Sotieno. I propose.
I second. My name is Rodan Dungwa.
Rodan Dungwa,
Yeah.
thank you. Item 5 on the agenda is to approve the director's remuneration for the year ended 31st December 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, the director's fee for 2010 is on page 69 of the annual report. May I have a proposal, please?
Tamaris.
Thank you, Tamaris.
I am James Oweru. I second.
James
Oweru.
Oweru, thank you very much. All in favor? Thank you. The sixth item on the agenda is to re-elect directors, okay? In accordance with the Article 96 of the Companies Article of Association and Capital Markets Authority guidelines on corporate governance practices by public listed companies in Kenya, Ms. Patricia Lai retires at this meeting and, being eligible, offers herself for re-election. May I have a proposal for the re-election of Ms. Patricia Lai?
Kibutu GN.
Kibutu. Thank you.
Regina Mulo, I second.
Regina, thank you very much. In accordance with Article 101 of the Companies Article of Association, Mr. T.M. Davidson retires at this meeting and, being eligible, offers himself for re-election. Baruku, please. Frederick. Thank you, Frederick. The seventh item on the agenda is to note that Messrs. PricewaterhouseCoopers, having expressed their willingness to continue as auditors by virtue of Section 159, subsection 2 of the Companies Act, Cap 486, and to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration. May I have a proposal?
My name is Francis Joroge.
Francis Joroge, thank you.
Samuel Murage, I second.
Thank you, Samuel. All in favor? Thank you. The eighth item on the agenda is to consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolutions. That the nominal share capital of the company be increased from 75 million Kenya shilling to 100 million Kenya shilling by the creation of an additional 500 million new ordinary shares of 5 cents, 0.05 shilling each, to rank pari passu in all respects with the existing ordinary shares in the capital of the company. May I have a proposal, please?
KGN
Please.
Kibutu, I propose.
Kibutu, thank you.